Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our November 28th open session of the Select Board. We are now out of our executive session, and I would ask you to please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'd like to move right on to public comment. Is there anybody here for public comment outside of licensing? No? Okay, hearing no public comment, we will actually go ahead and move into the licensing commissioners.
Chair, I'll make a motion that we open a session of the license commissioners.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All, Toby?
Thank you. We are now in licensing. The first item is a public hearing application for Dicor Restaurant Corporation, 1060 Osgood Street, for the change of category from wine and malt on-premises to liquor license to all alcohol on-premises liquor license. Anybody here from Dicor?
Madam Chair, I'll move to open the public
Oh,
hearing
thank
for
you,
the
of course.
application from Dicor Restaurant Corp. 1060 Osgood Street for change of category from wine and malt on-premise liquor to on-premise liquor license to all alcohol on-premise liquor.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of opening the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, unanimous. All right, thank you. You were standing from Dicor? So just come to the podium, please give your name, address, and I would suggest your title with Dicor would be helpful as well.
Veronica Churchill, 78 Union Street. Well, the restaurant's 1060 Osgood Street. And I'm one of the owners of the restaurant.
So tonight, you're looking for a full liquor license for the restaurant?
Yes, switching from wine and malt to full liquor.
Okay. Anything from the board? Any comments? Anything?
Everything seems to be in.
Yeah, everything does seem to be in order, which is always very good. So if everybody's set,
Madam Chair, if we just see if there's any public comment?
thank you. Any public comment from anybody in the room? Anything else you'd like to further add?
No?
Okay. All right, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
Madam Chair, I'll move that we close the public hearing for Dicor for an all liquor license.
I'll second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so that is a unanimous vote. And I guess we'll entertain a motion unless people have,
Madam Chair, I'll move approval for an all liquor license for Dicor Restaurant Corporation at 1060 Osgood Street, North Andover.
I'll second.
so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So far, I've heard good things.
Well, it's great. I love
From
that
you?
place.
How long have you been, how long have you been there? Sorry.
7 years.
7 years.
You're all set?
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, so, let's see. So the next item is public hearing application from Abbott Salem Incorporated DBA Brie or? Bricks, okay. I didn't take French, but I thought maybe it could have been French. I took Russian, go figure. So from,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for Abbott Salem Inc., DBA Bricks Grill, 701 Salem Street, for an all-alcohol on-premises liquor license and entertainment license.
I will second.
we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so how are you? Nice to see you.
Excellent. Brian Vaughn from Smolak and Vaughn on behalf of the applicant, Abbott Salem, doing business as Bricks Grill. With me tonight are Jim Zanakis and Mike Zanakis, the owners. This is just an application for a full-service alcohol license for a new restaurant that's being opened at 701 Salem Street. Happy to answer any questions you may have, obviously. I know one of the things this board is usually concerned about is how seriously you take the service of alcohol and clearly these guys have some familiarity with it and have experience with a license in town. Like I said, happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
Can you tell us a little bit about the restaurant? It's your opportunity.
Sure, I don't know if Jim, if you would like to speak about it?
Sure, I'm Jim Zanakis, one of the owners of the property at Salem Street, and we completed a fairly significant expansion a couple years ago, and initially we were going to try to launch right into the restaurant, but with the pandemic and economic circumstances, we wanted to just wait a little bit longer, and thankfully the market has been very busy, and we wanted to just kind of get our footing with that as well, so we delayed to this point in time where now we're ready to go and jump in. The menu is going to be casual dining with an emphasis on, really good quality food and good quality drinks, and hopefully a great place to meet in that part of North Andover, which is somewhat underserved by liquor licenses in the town. So my partner and I have quite a number of years between us of experience with food and beverage, so this will be a fun addition to Mike's Market and Midtown Market and Taki's Pizza. So we're excited about it.
Well, Jim, it's nice to see you haven't lost it. Jim's a former member of the Select Board, at that time Board of Selectmen, so he gets right to it.
Jim, I just have a question about the hours. So you're
Please.
going to be open till 1 a.m. 7 days a week, and that's a residential area. That seems, it seems a lot.
I mean, we wouldn't be open that late on a regular basis. I don't think there's really a market for
That's what you got
that.
in the application.
I think the application was for, hours up to a certain point, for certain,
But,
think it's
yeah,
important
but it's
that-
part of the application.
I think it's important that they have the maximum flexibility, because there'll be different times, different nights. You might have a Monday night football, a Thursday night football, you have different things. So as far as the liquor license is concerned, obviously it's very strict, and the end date and end time on that license is the time that they're required to stop serving. So, as Jim said, I don't think that there's probably even a market for that, really, to be open regularly on those hours. It's not their plan, but I think that they deserve to be treated fairly in the same way that all other restaurants seem to be treated in the town in terms of, I know there's a lot of other restaurants that I represent, and they have until 1 a.m. service across the board. I think you are correct, this is a different part of town where there hasn't typically been restaurants, but there are a lot of other areas, even in downtown, where you have residential overlaid with commercial. In fact, you have, in the downtown area, you have liquor licenses that have the ability to serve until 1, which are on the same parcel as some residential. So I think, I think that it's probably fair to treat this applicant as you've treated other applicants in town.
Madam Chair, I will note that the application in the notes from the police does require all noise to be internal after 9 p.m. So they won't be allowed to have any outdoor seating or anything like that after 9.
And I just think 1 a.m. in that area of town is excessive. It's my opinion. I have 7 nights a week. I mean, maybe on the
It
weekends.
does mean, though, if there are complaints, right, do we have the ability to change that if there's a problem once they're up and running? Or is it
When they come in for their renewal,
easier to, okay.
I was
it
going
would-
to say,
right.
it wouldn't be
right,
right
Yeah,
away.
what's the, then,
we would have to address it during the renewal process.
I don't see any issues from the police or the fire or the,
What time are you usually shutting Takis down?
Usually around 9 o'clock. A lot of it's seasonal, but North Andover's very early closing towns.
Yes,
We all
it
have
is.
experience going out
Yes,
around
yeah.
North Andover.
trying to.
I'm trying to go out after turn. I just don't see the business. I don't know that we would see they would see the
What's
draw.
the entertainment license piece of this? I don't.
We,
The last page.
my understanding is that we applied for the entertainment license. I believe that there was an error with the notice where it only included the liquor license. So
You'll have to
that is
come back again.
pending. It's going to, be back for that and the common victualer's license as well.
That's my understanding as well.
It's
That's
common.
pending.
It's
Yeah.
common vic, okay.
Yep.
And basic occupancy permit too is also pending. so-
Pending.
We know that it will be contingent.
So
But
when
you're-
are you gonna be up, Jim? When are you gonna be up and running?
Up and running, pending construction, I don't know.
Okay. Right, with
You mean like the
way
supply
it is, you don't know.
chain in the trains?
So this will be a license that's granted in advance of anything, seeing any seating arrangements or anything like that?
Well,
There's no building.
assuming all goes well tonight, the plan is to order equipment and everything is ready to be ordered, but I wanted to wait for tonight before we made those calls, and committed entirely.
Madam
What's
Chair,
the, yeah, what's the capacity expected to be of the restaurant?
Approximately 96
96
seats.
Madam Chair, I was just going to recommend that we see if there's any public comment, because there is some public comments about the hours.
And that was exactly what I was going to say. If there's nothing else is there any public comment, any neighbors or butters or anybody else that want to speak to this? Hearing none? Okay. Anything else from the board?
Madam Chair, I'll move to close the public hearing for the application of Abbott Salem, Inc., DBA Bricks Grill, 701 Salem Street, for an all-alcohol on-premises liquor license and entertainment license.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, unanimous vote. Okay.
Madam Chair, I'll move approval of the license for, I want to read it precisely so we don't have to come back. Where are we?
Do you want?
I'll move the Select Board, acting as License Commissioners, approve the application of Abbott Salem, Inc., DBA Bricks Grill, 701 Salem Street, for the all-alcohol on-premise liquor license. We're going to come back to the entertainment license, so I'm not going to put that in there. Contingent upon obtaining a certificate of occupancy and all noise being contained to the interior of the building after 9 p.m.
A second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, that's a unanimous vote.
Good luck.
luck.
Can't wait to
Good
try it out.
We'll see you back here in a little while, I guess.
What's the cuisine
Thank
going to
you.
be? Do we know yet? Or
What's that?
what's the cuisine going to
The
be?
cuisine, that's also still.
Still in the
motion,
plans?
Are
Okay.
you taking suggestions?
Absolutely, please.
Is Mike going to be the head chef? Because then I know what's
Oh,
going to
there
be.
he is.
We're hoping to have, something similar to Maggie's Farm in Middleton,
Oh,
which,
yeah.
they have a really good menu and they've really captured a good market with both beverage and food.
Yeah.
So early on in the process, we hired one of the principals at Maggie's Farm to be our consultant and help us with design and menu and branding and things like that. So we're pretty excited about that aspect of it. Just it's going to be interesting to try to roll it out with such a challenging, work environment with construction and labor. So
I know someone in the room who really loves their tater tots, but I won't say who did.
Well, you guys got a lot on your plate, that's for sure.
Yeah, good luck.
thank you very much.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Okay, so next item is application for Justin Navos. Where are you? There you are, I'm sorry. Hey, listen, you could have my last name, nobody can pronounce that one. Okay, so DBA, so we're a little amused, you made us laugh by garlic breath pizza.
Yeah, that was the idea.
Yep.
To make us laugh. Okay, for a common victuals license at 733 Turnpike Street.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hey,
Good. Yeah, so I'm seeking a non-alcohol common victual license to operate a restaurant. It will be called Garlic Breath Pizza at 733 Turnpike Street, formerly the home of Captain Pizza before it was destroyed by the car. I live at 47 Brightwood Ave in North Andover, and I have for the past 7 years operated a restaurant in Cambridge, Mass. But I'm looking to do business closer to home. So, yeah, and we want to bring, a different flavor of pizza, I guess, to the town. And I've been eating pizza in town for a long time, and excited to bring another option to a place that was there for a long time. So,
Sounds great.
Yep.
Are you doing like sandwiches too, or?
Yeah, we're going to do some sandwiches too. We're not going to do anything fried, so there won't be fries and fried food. But yeah, mostly pizza, but some sandwiches, and everything will be made by scratch. I'm making bread from scratch for the sub rolls and things like that. So
And
nothing
salads.
frozen. Everything will be fresh. We won't have a freezer, so some salads.
And will you deliver?
Yeah, we're
Great.
trying to figure out the best way to do that through the apps and things like that without losing a huge portion of our revenue.
What's
Yeah.
your schedule, Justin, for opening?
So we are probably a month or two out, I would say. The Jasmine Plaza owner is taking care of the build out, so it's been a little slower than we expected. There were some challenges with the space that we uncovered with the plumbing and things like that. So yeah, I'm hoping maybe by the end of the year we can kind of get in the space and start bringing the equipment in. But I think more realistically, January.
Well, I work over there, so it'd be good to have you.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No. Madam Chair, I'll move approval. Sounds like a great venture.
Yeah,
Thanks.
We have
excited
a
to have you.
motion.
I'll second.
And we have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And it looks like it's a unanimous vote.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
And
Have a good night.
join the Merchants Association.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll hit you up to join the Merchants Association.
Okay, so the next item is application from Paul Gallant of Merrimack College for 2 one-day wine and malt liquor licenses for receptions at the Church of Christ the Teacher on December 1st from 5 to 9 p.m. and December 16th from 2022 from 1 to 4 p.m. Do we have someone? Mr. Doggett?
Thank you all. It's nice to be back. Jeff Doggett, Executive Vice President, Chief Financial and Operating Officer at the college, and resident at 84 Johnson Street. I appreciate, as always, the opportunity to come in. The board's always very helpful to us when it comes to these one days. We are working on getting a full-time so we don't have to keep taking the time of the board on these, but that's not complete. And we have 2 things that we're trying to do between now and the end of the year. The first is on the night of the 1st, which is our normal board meeting, we also are celebrating a donor. We're trying to get that in. And then the second is just for our senior staff, an opportunity to get together as a community and celebrate Christmas, which we actually haven't been able to do as a community as everybody else as a result of COVID. So so these 2 have come up as a result of those requests, and I'm happy to answer any questions, but I appreciate the committee, as always, looking into these for us.
Thank you for that. Anybody have any questions?
How are you, so now that you've completed the renovations, how are you using the space? Was it more a reception?
Yeah, so the building is actually in 2 parts. It's really 3, just to be clear. So the church itself, right, well, that will historically, it's been a church, it will remain a church. The pews are out, and so we'll set up chairs, which could then give us the opportunity to do big events, right, where it'd be just rows and rows of chairs, funerals, weddings, things like that. But it also provides us the opportunity to do mass sort of in the round or do smaller masses, and then gives us some event space, research symposiums, things like that, speaker series, and then on occasion, an event like this would be a dinner. It's really replacing, from our view, what we would normally do in a tent,
Yeah.
right? We can just do it inside. So we don't really see this as adding more events, we just see it as bringing it in-house as opposed to trying to do the tent. Beneath it is the student union portion, and that's where there's bowling alley and the esports and things like that. That's where a student hangout space. And then Monica's Kitchen is a food space that's just on the outside of the building that we added, so that students have a place to eat while they're down there, doing their thing, on a weekend night.
So the church it will still be available, as you said, for religious ceremonies. and so-
Absolutely, yep.
Which is great, particularly for the alumni.
Yes,
We've
yeah,
seen a lot of
weddings,
people get
yes.
married at that church.
They sure do, and we've got a long list of people who are eager to get back in and take advantage of that opportunity as an alum to come back and get married on the campus as well.
Very nice,
What
I
a good
agree.
idea, though, to have like flexible seating in there, so you can set up intimate events, or you can have.
Yeah, so it's sad in some way, but the night that we officially reopened the building and then we've shut it back down, because we've done there's more stained glass in the building itself now, in the church, than there was before. And that's not all in. So we literally opened it for a day to have our opening. That night, we finished this 175-person dinner, which was very nice. And then, unfortunately, someone that works at the institution passed away, so we had a funeral for them the very next morning. So we were able to take, rounds of, 8 and 10 seats, and a very nice dinner, plated dinner, take it all down, set it up with just chairs in a row for 700 people for that mass the next morning. And I would expect that would be, we'll get used to that routine over time, but, like everybody else, gets a little difficult. We're sort of out of that, post-COVID and getting used to that type of usage. But that's where I would envision the use to be.
Was that Kevin's mass?
Yes, it was, yeah.
So he was the first, that's great.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
fitting.
Yeah, it sure was. It was a nice mass, too.
It's, for those at home, it sounds like it's a very similar setup to St. Michael's Church, where there is the church, which stays as a church, but the old church can also have services and gatherings and things like
Yep.
that, and it is chairs, as you said, not pews. The
Yes, yep.
church proper is pews.
Yep.
So nice to hear that you have those options.
Yeah, we're excited about it. There was actually a project we started before COVID. It was one of the first decisions we had to make once COVID started, was to shut that down and stop that construction. So, and now it's sad in a sense, because everyone that's come up here has talked about, trying to get laborers to come in and do the work and supply chain, and it's taken a long time to finish the project. But, I think we're there in a place now where we can start to use it, and it'll get used more in January when the students return.
I would imagine, though, that you're not going to allow bowling during Mass.
No.
Because they'll
no.
think it's messages from God coming up from above. with all
No,
that
we
rolling
don't.
of the balls.
We don't intend to do that, but we did start a bowling team. It's actually a Division I sport in our conference.
Okay.
And we beat the number 2 school in the nation already, so
There we
Merrimack's already
go.
doing well.
That might be your new
Bowling
sport.
pros.
Yeah.
Interesting one, yeah.
Yep.
I was wondering about that. I mentioned it to Lori Burzlaff. I said, well, maybe the bowling's going to be a club sport or something. So.
No, the fascinating part about it is by putting bowling there and the esports, we were able to expand Division I programming, right? So the bowling team is a women's sport, so that helps us.
Challenge.
Right, the esports is men for now, and it'll grow. But those are 2 areas that, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, no one up here would have thought that would have been something to do as a Division I program, but it's catching on like fire, so we're happy to be, part of it.
And for the women, it helps with the Title IX, too. So
It sure does.
Is a
yes.
good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's
good.
your colleague with you tonight?
Oh, so this is Anthony Preston. He's my new chief of staff. He's been on the job for exactly 3 days.
Congratulations, you're toughing it out.
He was part of the Baker administration, so he's amongst being
Got
here,
some
but he'll
time.
also be helping out in other ways in the office as my role continues to evolve and expand at the institution.
Good for you.
Okay.
Nice to meet you as well.
Great.
Okay. All right, Heather.
Board acting as licensing commissioners approve the application from Paul Gallant on behalf of Merrimack College for 2 one-day wine and malt liquor licenses for receptions at the Church of Christ the Teacher on December 1st, 2022, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., and December 16th, 2022, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. with the police detail as requested by the police department.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That is a unanimous vote. It's very nice to see you here and see you have a representative here. We know it can be kind of difficult, but a lot of things get settled and a better understanding, and I think it's a great way for town and gown to continue to work together, so thank you for being here.
I appreciate it, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to
Thank
you as
you.
well.
Take care.
Okay, so where are we now? Okay, so, G. Application for LaPage LLC, DBA Sobol for common victuals license and entertainment license for 544 Turnpike Street is, there we go.
Hi,
You knew what we were going to say.
my name is Sylvia Rocha. I'm the co-owner of Sobol Beverly and hopefully very soon Sobol North Andover, and my wife Natalie.
And I'm Natalie Rocha. also the co-owner of both locations. So we are looking to open up a soul bowl, which is acai bowls, smoothies.
Could you
and-
speak up a little bit? I'm sorry. Because I can hear the fan. Go ahead.
So we're looking to open up Soul Bowl, which is a franchise that offers acai bowls, smoothies, smoothie bowls, and yeah. Oh, we reside in Lowell, 351 High Street, and we also have been.
Location of the stores.
Yeah, 544 Turnpike Street, that plaza with Friendly Toast,
Yep.
and right next to Tripoli. Yeah.
What's it right next to?
Tripoli?
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. And then we've owned our Beverly location for we just celebrated our 4-year anniversary there.
Oh, that's a very good sign.
Yeah.
We made it through the pandemic, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, good for
Worked
you.
out.
I always said if a
That was
if a-
gutsy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
If a spot opened up in that plaza, I'm like, we have to take it. 'cause
And it
it's-
was the pandemic tail end, kind of whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it.
And I drove in, I said, let me take a look, see if anything's available, and sure enough, so.
It'll be perfect.
I mean, you
Call
should have
us right
spoke
there.
with Jeff while he was here to see if he can take the MAC card. They have-
I know,
Yeah.
I know. I told her we should give him a card. But
So we have, in Beverly, a lot of our customers go to Endicott, they're Endicott students, so we take the card there, and they love it, I mean, it's great.
Yeah, we'll
So
definitely
we'll
be in
definitely do
touch.
that here,
Yeah.
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 Where are you in Beverly?
Enon Street, it's right on the line with Hamilton,
Okay.
Near Nick's roast beef. Yep. Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah,
area.
people do know that, yeah.
Are your smoothies like real fruits?
Yes.
Yes, no no sugary syrups or anything like
I have to
that.
tell you, I have to say it. I'm very proud of our smoothies. People, say, oh, they're so expensive. Well, that's because there's zero ice. The
Yeah.
ice comes from the fruit. We can't give away too much. But it's expensive because it's all fruit.
Yeah.
It's very good for you. No, like sugars or extra
Yeah.
anything. Unless you want to add flax or whatever.
Or, I mean, we do have Nutella, and some people add those into smoothie.
You can see you're both very excited about this
We are,
next
yes.
adventure.
I grew up in Lowell, so, North Andover it's closer to home.
Part of the Merrimack Valley.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Oh, I'm so excited.
So you'll keep both locations? then?
Yeah, yes,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Okay.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Are you
No,
ready to
Madam
vote?
Chair, I'll move approval for the common victual license for LePage LLC, DBA is Sobel.
I'll second.
Oh, and entertainment
the
license, I'm
fire.
sorry. And entertainment license at 544 Turnpike Street.
And the satisfactory fire alarm and sprinkler
test
testing and reports.
I'll accept that as a friendly amendment.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion?
When do you think you're going to open?
Okay.
Well, luckily everyone's talking about labor. Believe it or not, I'm a plumber, so we have that.
We have that covered.
We have a contractor.
Yeah, our contractor is ready to go as soon as we can get our building license.
We don't have our building permit, so
Yeah.
I hope.
You'll just go right downstairs. Well, you can do it online too, right?
Well, we hope.
We have
everything's
everything
all
in.
set.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was because of this, but if that was the last thing, but I'm not sure. We'll follow up tomorrow.
Yeah.
For sure.
Just
Yeah.
make sure you get the proper sign permits. Sometimes people go out and buy their signs and then they find out that there was a few
Yeah.
things that you were supposed to do, so
Yeah,
just,
we have to come back, right, to approve, or the sign company usually does that, right, to
Yeah.
approve.
To
the
get
sign through
approval.
the
just be careful,
town.
because people have bought signs and then to find out that it didn't follow the proper permitting, so
Yeah, I'm sure the plaza has guidelines as well.
Yeah,
right, that
that's
you
true.
can-
Yeah.
don't worry, it's nothing really awful, so you'll be.
Yeah.
what
I'll-
you'll-
Yeah, we're not gonna do anything,
Too
out of the
extravagant,
ordinary.
with
No.
no big flashing
No,
lights with
not at all.
people
No.
drinking smoothies.
No, no.
The signs on all the stores in that plaza, they're all
same.
really nice. They're not lighted, they have the lights
Well,
that come down.
Now
so-
now you get where we're going, so
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Yeah, so we'll
Okay.
stick with that.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion, did I already get it?
Yep, we have a motion in a second.
Second.
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, congratulations.
Good luck.
Good
Thank you
luck.
so much.
See you there.
Welcome to town, welcome to North Andover.
Thank
Can't
you.
wait to try it out.
Thank you.
3 years and 2 months, Laura just said to me every day, she wants us to we need softball. So this is her celebration. Look at Laura. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Wait a minute, what did she say?
She has one of
Yes.
Oh.
Every day.
That's awesome. We'll be seeing
Yep,
you
that's
So one day you can go up there and get some really garlicky pizza, and the next
Yeah.
day you can go get a softball. It's a balance. Life is about a balance, right?
That fruit to sweeten your breath a
That's
little
not all
bit.
I eat, so. All right, thank you very much.
Take care.
Have a good night.
Okay, so the next item is discussion regarding license renewals. So you going to start this off?
Laurie will start. Go ahead, Laurie.
Laurie's going to, yeah, we spoke to her earlier today.
Our town clerk had asked if we could just get some direction from you regarding the license renewals. I don't know if you remember from last year, there were several renewals that had to be contingent on this and contingent on that. For whatever reason, we're having a really difficult time getting people able to put their applications in on time. ABCC requires license renewals be signed in the month of November. I have no idea why, but this is a requirement. So we've been pushing really hard for them to get their inspection scheduled, to get their certificate of good standing from the Secretary of State's office. And we're spending a lot of time chasing. So the question is, do we, how do you want us to proceed if these licenses aren't ready by your next meeting? Because I think last year we had told people, you don't get it in and we don't get it on the agenda for the December meeting, you're going to lose your license as of January 1st. So
And we did have that happen with one of the
we had
licenses
it
last year.
happen, yeah. And it took them quite some time to get everything needed. There are a couple that actually haven't submitted anything. I think there's just 2 businesses that haven't submitted anything. Most of the common victual license are only the certificate of good standing for most of them. And we can deal with that in-house, but again, we're gonna be the ones that are gonna be getting it. They're not getting it. We'll go and we'll get it from the Secretary of State's office. So we're not really sure why they're having a difficult time, but I know that they just, I think they just kind of put it aside because they're like,
What happens if it is not completed by the end of November? I mean,
That's
there
our
are
question
3 more
to you.
days, but
Right.
that's not our guideline, is it? It is our,
well, we have to follow ABCC's rules.
so,
and
right, so
we've
what
done in the
happens on that
past-
end?
Well, what we did last year is we put the applications on with all of these contingencies.
Right. So you voted them saying that if this person paid off their taxes, they could have their
Then they can
license.
have
And
their
if
license.
this
So
person
we-
gave us their certificate of insurance, they could have their license. But we're wondering if that's really the route we should continue to be taking.
Because it's getting more and more every year. It's more and
Yes.
more.
I mean,
And-
it's gonna get to the point, I think, where we have to start discussing increasing the fees because the town clerk's office spends
A lot of time.
a lot of time chasing license holders to get it, and it's not like it's new. They have to do this every year at the same time.
And having a license is a privilege, right? And with that privilege comes responsibility. And it's unfortunate when we can't get them to return their paperwork
Right.
that goes along with that.
So
I
the
will
time,
tell you, in other fields where licenses are required, you don't get the paperwork in, you shut down. If you're a real estate broker or other type of brokerage, you cannot practice your field.
right.
What if,
But
And that's
you
the
don't wanna
question
be-
they
Right.
had, the town clerk's office has for you. How do you want us to proceed with this? So just so you get an idea, the timeline is they mail a letter out in August. So there's plenty of time. The first letter went out August 8th. The renewal packets for the common vic went out September 29th and were due back on October 24th. And the liquor license renewals were sent out on October 31st and are due back on November 18th.
Is that certified mail or anything? Is there any record of it?
So we have the entire, this is their spreadsheet, and all the X's are the things that, we know that they've gotten. We know everybody has gotten.
Okay.
because you guys have followed
Because
up
they've
with every single one of them.
Put some
to
things
say-
in, don't have other things.
Right, only 2 have not responded at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only two have not submitted anything whatsoever.
They're aware.
I mean, my thought process is, and my gut is that the Thursday before, when our agenda is finalized, if your paperwork is not in order, just like we would say to anybody else who wants to go on the agenda, then your license renewal will not be placed on the agenda. And I think if we put that out to all of them again, maybe that's the message needs to be.
Is it,
Can they get
not a
can they
hard
get the
process for them,
paperwork
is
in
it? No.
in a couple of days?
Right, they should all be able to get all their paperwork in. They should have everything
Because
in
they have until
file. Right,
December 12th.
right.
Because
We
our
have, we have
next,
2 more weeks, because our
2
meeting's
more
not to the 14th.
So, yeah, I would say, yeah, let's,
yes.
my suggestion is send a letter and say, or send another communication and say,
Okay.
if you don't have it in,
Right.
then your license is not gonna be renewed and you will not be able to do business.
Can-
until
and
your
We should
license
say
is
it's
renewed.
state law.
The original letters came from the state or came from us? The renewal
Us.
packets come from us. So can we, yeah, send a follow-up and
Saying that this is state law.
does it make sense to send it certified or?
I mean,
That's a lot of work too,
Suzanne does
getting
a
all this
really good
certified.
job of tracking, and I can tell you that she has sent reminders to the 2 that have not filed anything 3 times. The others, they have been, trickling in. But again, they know they have to do this every year, and some of them haven't contacted the building department to get, or the fire
So like, how
department to
many
get
are
their
we talking that
inspections.
are not complete? Just out of a ballpark?
17.
We have that, yeah.
17? Out of how many?
Let's see.
So, yeah, I think it's getting worse every year, right?
Yeah, that's what she,
Right.
that's what
It's
Lori
not
and
2
I
or
were talking
3,
about
it's
this.
a lot.
So there are a total of 48 common vic licenses. 9 have outstanding issues, 2 haven't sent back anything. There are 34 on-premise and 18 off-premise liquor license, and 19 on-premise have not sent back anything, and 4 off-premise, not that they haven't sent back anything, they have outstanding issues, and 4 off-premise have outstanding issues.
Total of
It is a
17.
lot.
For a total of 17. Again, they think the 2 biggest obstacles are the certificate of good standing, which I don't understand why that is.
That's actually, they
It's
can
very
pick it up,
easy.
they can actually pick it up at the registry of deeds, like they can request it on the Secretary of
Yeah.
State's website and pick it up
Yep.
at the registry of deeds.
Oh, they can pick it up at the
Yep.
registry? It's a very easy thing to request, so I don't really understand that. That is a majority of them.
Do we
And
send
then-
them like, it's part of it, is how to get your
Yep, we
certificate
It's
send
a
of
them the
good
link.
checklist of,
The link to the Secretary of State's
Yeah.
website.
And
We
they all
did
had to
get
do this
one,
when they got their license in the beginning.
yeah,
Right, so they've all done it before.
and we did, and the other big thing is getting their inspections, getting them scheduled with the building and fire department.
So every business is inspected every year at this time because of these reasons.
that's a lot of inspections in a short period
It is
of
a lot
time.
on them also.
So they're not only getting reminders from the town clerk's office, but the building department is also contacting them, asking them what's the status of your scheduling the inspection. So it's a lot.
I think last year we gave them some leeway because of COVID, right? We're all coming out of COVID and the
Yeah.
restaurants, of course, were particularly hit hard, but this is a bit excessive.
It's almost like they have to get a bus for the inspectors to all come and they do it like a milk.
A tour.
Yeah, a tour.
So, again, when's the deadline to have this all in? The 12th?
So they were supposed to
Oh, the meeting's
have,
the 12th, right?
The meeting
Meeting's the 14th.
moved to the
meetings,
14th.
yeah, got moved to the 14th.
Right, okay.
So that Wednesday, so that's when it will be on the agenda.
To Friday to the 9th.
But their deadline that they were given in their packet was they had to have it in by the end of November.
Our drop dead deadline on everything would be the 9th,
Yeah.
Friday the 9th.
Which
The
is,
deadline is a state deadline, so are there any repercussions at that level if those applications are not in by the end of November? Okay, so it's
They
up
just
to
lose their-
us to, okay,
they just lose their license.
yeah.
And they'll have to, for the liquor license, they'll have to reapply all over again.
So
Oh,
if
and
they
then
don't,
they'll
that's
become
the,
free?
so if they don't do it in time to renew their license, they have to reapply.
Yep.
And they know
Because
this.
we have asked that of the ABCC before.
That's, yeah,
Which is why I think last year you agreed to
Submit with
make
all
them
of the-
subject to, because the ABCC isn't that concerned about the contingencies that much, but they're concerned about it getting in, signed in November, and getting to them when it's supposed to be.
Can we implement fees on top of it? Like,
Mhm.
can we implement fees?
Well, you would have to vote on fees, but that's sort of where I think something we should be thinking about because of the extra time that it's taking to do these.
Well,
you
there
know-
is late fees for other organizations. There's, if you don't you don't get it
Yeah.
in on time, you can't practice,
Right.
and then there's a late fee.
Yeah, so, you know, we've thought about suggesting that in the next year, in the renewal packet, to say that if we don't receive, say, the certificate of good standing by this date, we will request one for you, and this will be the charge. So we would charge a fee for us to actually request it, and then whatever the Secretary of State's office charges, I think they charge $12.
Right.
We did get one complaint about having to pay the $12.
That's not new,
Cost
though.
That's the
Business.
state though.
That's
yeah.
not new, though, right?
It's actually cheap
No, you
compared
pay
to
it
some
to
of
the
the
state,
other
yeah.
industries,
Right, but
I'll
it's
tell you
not a
that
new
right
one.
It's
now.
not a new fee, no.
I think if we have to do it, we shouldn't be charging them 12, we'd be charging them 12
Right,
plus.
plus whatever
Yes,
time is for us
plus-
to go on and request it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly,
But we would have to do that as an
So-
amendment to your regulations.
right.
So for this year, we need to decide what to do with these 17, right?
This year, we just like some sort of direction on what you would like us to tell them as far as the December meeting where all of the renewals are going to be voted on.
Well, one day that they're even closed, they could have made their money, and the time and effort of doing, yeah, the day's closed, then you can spend your time working on your renewal application.
I mean, I'd like to be able to send them a letter from
Yes.
our
Yes.
office that says,
Yes.
if everything's not received by December 9th
Yep.
at noon,
Yep.
you're not gonna be renewed.
I think
You're
that
not
that's
gonna
fair,
renew until January
yes.
1st, you're gonna be shut
Yeah.
down.
As it is, it should be
Right.
November 30th,
Right.
but giving them till December 9th is fair.
No, I would
And
agree
it's
with
not like
that.
two
I think
that
that's
you
a,
can go track down.
I think a letter
No.
going out saying everything needs to be in by December 9th. And if it's not, then your license will not be renewed until that is, all of that is completed.
What about a robocall, or do you think that that would just go to anybody who answers the phone at the business, and maybe they,
Well, it's only 17, right?
Yeah.
or just a phone call?
Do they follow up with phone
I
calls?
suppose
I mean,
for
yeah,
17,
that's what
they could
they already
make the
make,
phone calls.
they make phone calls, right?
Yeah, we already.
I mean, we could, yeah, I mean, they do,
call.
we could ask them to call
Yeah.
and let them know that,
If we don't
I
hear from
think
you,
the
your business will
letter
be shut
and then,
down.
you know,
Not
a
ju-
few
not
days
just hear from you,
ahead,
though,
a
but have your-
follow-up phone
package
call.
complete.
Yeah.
Right, a complete
exactly, the
package.
package has to be complete, because the majority of their time is, you know, chasing down what to check off and what not to check off, and
The
it'd be
reason
nice
that-
if you get a packet in, you look at it, it's all set, okay, now you move on to the next one, but
The-
they
They
just.
send
The
it in
reason
bits
I
and
think the
pieces.
calls are important, because we all know that you could, here, our mail goes to Boston
Hmm.
and then comes back, and that could be 4 days, especially
They
because,
have, yeah, and they have talked to people, they have talked to the businesses.
They've made calls
Yeah.
to,
okay, because I would just think, the clock is ticking. That's why I
I
thought.
think it's fair to say we can send a letter and then in
Or
a few
call
days
and-
ahead,
call
a few
and
days
send a
ahead,
letter.
whoever you still haven't heard from.
Yeah, I would do a call first and, at the same time, and send the letter out.
Yeah, we can do that.
That's fine.
And
That
it's
works.
fair to say that you won't.
Well,
Be
they need to be
renewed. I
reminded
mean-
it's state law.
Well, they're gonna lose their license,
License,
right?
License, they're gonna
Yeah.
lose their license.
And I'm sure there are people waiting for an
Mhm.
all-alcohol license.
Yeah, and we don't want that for our businesses, so.
And once Christine gets settled, Don and I had already discussed previously of reviewing the regs to see if
Yeah.
there's anything that she might want to suggest we put in there, and if you decide you want to bring up anything about additional fees, that we
Yeah.
can put in there before next year's
Do you think you
renewals.
could make that recommendation on what fee structure you would see? So if it's like, you know, if you have to go to back for a second call, or if you have
Yeah.
to do the certificate of compliance or whatever,
Mhm.
you know, how much would you suggest we charge for that?
Yeah, we
Just a
can, we
rough
can
fee
recommend, because I know how long it takes to get one, and
Yeah.
I know what it costs to get one, so we can just
You can come up with
figure
a
out a
fee.
fair. I mean, I do like to give them the opportunity to get it themselves,
Yep.
but I like the idea of setting a strict deadline that if you do not get it to us, we will request it ourselves and you will be charged X amount of dollars for it. Some may just be like, go ahead and get it, cause I don't have time,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's okay too.
Interesting.
yeah, we don't want to lose all those businesses.
I think this was a very good topic to put on the agenda for tonight, and I appreciate you
Thank you.
bringing it to my attention and putting it on. Okay, So are we all set with that?
Yes.
Then I will entertain a motion to move out of licensing. I almost forgot that, because it's like a whole different
It's
subject.
been a while.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye to moving out of licensing.
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed, we are now out of licensing. Madam Chair.
Thank you. We're back to new business. Item A is a request of the Festival Committee to use the Common on May 21st, 2023, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and to close Mass Ave from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and to waive any municipal fees for the Sheep Shearing Festival. Anybody?
Madam Chair, I'll move approval for our annual sheep shearing that everyone looks forward to in the spring.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any further discussion? Do we typically waive all those fees? That's normal?
yeah.
Okay. Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Great. Can't wait for the next sheep shearing festival. Item B, the request of John Waters to raise the Irish flag at the Common for St. Patrick's Day from March 10th, 2023 through March 24th, 2023. I don't see anybody here to speak to that.
I don't think
Any
there's any
discussion?
holidays, there's no national holidays or any kind of holidays in that
I
timeframe. other
don't
than-
think so. But there's no exclusions on the, on that, okay.
Yeah.
That's the month before.
That's a long march. Let's take the flag.
So get
Madam-
your green out of
I-
the closet and get ready.
This will be fun. Madam Chair, I'll move approval.
Okay, I have a
And I will
motion
second that with a
and
name
a
of
second.
Connolly.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, not hearing discussion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Looking forward to seeing that. Item C is to approve the application and guidelines for the electric bill assistance program. So I'm going to hand that over to our town manager.
Thank you. This is the program that we discussed with you at our last meeting. Laurie has drawn up these guidelines after conversations with you as well as the National Grid. It lays out exactly how we plan on using the funds. The first group being those who are already categorized as low-income by National Grid, and that's $195,000. And then the remaining funds being for residents who are not currently categorized as low-income through National Grid, but qualify under the eligibility guidelines that we have set out. And these eligibility guidelines are in line with what we used for the rental assistance program.
It's based on CPC guidelines, which are slightly higher than the federal home guidelines, because the home guidelines, they don't go up to 100%, but CPC does.
Okay.
And I think one of the important points is that those that qualify for the low-income exemption already are mostly people who qualify for state programs. So this is hoping to reach some people who maybe either, one, don't qualify for state programs but are still struggling, or two, don't know about the programs that are
That's-
available.
Right. That's what I hope is we'll catch the people who don't know.
And once we get this program approved, we're going to go ahead and send that postcard out that we've been holding. So we'll be ready to go. We just want to be able to link it all in one. We don't want people
Yeah.
to miss this program.
Yes. That's great.
And how do people, so I see the application, and then where do they bring it to town hall or electronically or?
How do they
Either way.
get it?
Yeah.
It will be online.
They'll be online.
Can they
Yeah.
submit it online also? Or- okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're working on a, IT has already started. I actually have the link to test it. It's gonna be just like if you applied to use the Common or a
Awesome.
permit or anything like that. But we'll have printed ones also in case people need that as well.
And hopefully we can count on, like, the schools to promote it. and-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The postcard's going to be a huge part of it because it's getting in people's houses, and that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll put it in the newsletter.
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, it's due now.
That is due
Yep.
in 2 days.
Yes.
Perfect.
Great, Laurie, this is really good.
Thank
She did a great
you.
job.
Yeah, this is great.
And how do you verify income? Is that the the income tax?
You have to
Tax
provide
return.
tax.
The
Tax
tax
returns
returns
and
and
checks.
the pay stubs.
this worked very well when we did the rental assistance program.
Great. We really appreciate it.
And it will be $100 for 3 months, right?
Yep, unless your bill is less than that.
Right. Yeah, I think it'll help a lot of people.
Certainly better than that $25 one. Talked about it initially. It just seems to really help.
It hits the people who
This one,
need,
yeah.
need the help, so. Great. All right, so,
Madam Chair, I'll move the Select Board approve the application and guidelines for the electric bill assistance program as presented.
I have a motion. Can I
I'll
get a second?
second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Another
Great.
great use for that money.
Very excited, and thanks again for, for all that work. I know it's not easy to put those programs together. Okay, item D under new business is our appointments. We have quite a few appointments, so I'm going to turn to the appointment subcommittee to tell us what's happening tonight.
So Dick and I interviewed 10 people for the 400 Great Pond Road Committee. So we thank everybody that came and wanted to volunteer their time. Lots of great interest in the committee, but we could only pick 3. So we will be appointing, or we are recommending, Gerald Brecker, Norma Lockman, and he went by Willie, but what's his?
Guillermo.
Guillaume, yeah, Bison? Those will be for the, is it Bison?
No, I thought, I was going to say Vincennes, but there's no
It's
N.
no end, I know. License.
So he was the environmental engineer, I believe. Norma has been on the master plan. She helped out with the master plan. And Gerald is a longtime resident and a butter to the pond, which will be great.
Very diverse
Yeah, he has a lot of
skills, lawyer,
Yeah.
real estate. He's a
Land
patent
use.
inventor. He's just,
And Norma is also, has been part of, what was it? She was communications for many big
Communications,
companies.
yes.
Public communications, so really a really good mix of folks here between the real estate and Norma's involvement in other town boards, plus public communications, and then an environmental engineer. And I
Yep.
believe Willie was on other committees. He was on the Conservation Commission
He was,
years
yes.
ago.
Yep.
So, really a great group. And yeah, you're right, we had 10 really good applicants that came forward, and, it's tough to just pick 3, but I think the 3 here are a good representation of those folks that applied.
So that will help, they'll be able to get that committee up and running. And then we have Pamela Lathrop, who's going to be appointed to the Cultural Council. She's a longtime principal. She was a principal in town and now is a principal in Andover and has lots of experience with various events. And I think she'll bring some good energy to the Cultural Council. We met with Mike Nolan, a retired vet. He's not retired, but he's a veteran. And was excited to work with the Patriotic Observance Committee. And then finally, Joan Thompson will be appointing to the Council on Aging.
Okay.
All good people, and again, we thank everybody that signs up to volunteer, and just because, maybe you weren't selected for one of these boards, there are so many other opportunities to get involved in town, so please don't not sign up again.
Please sign
I
up
guess
again.
it's kind of
Please keep
negative,
signing
but-
up, yes.
I definitely want to thank you guys for all of your work as well. It's been really busy doing all those interviews, and we appreciate your time and effort. It's really teamwork. So, that being said, I will take a motion.
I will move that the Select Board appoint Gerald Brecker, Norma Lockman, and Guillermo Bison to the 400 Great Pond Road Committee, Pamela Lathrop to the Cultural Council through June 30th, 2024, Mike Nolan to the Patriotic Observance Committee through June 30th, 2024, and Joan Thompson to the Council on Aging through June 30th, 2025. And Joan Thompson is an associate member, correct?
Do we need to put an end date on the 400 Great Pond Road? I know the committee itself ends at town meeting, right? So the committee disbands at that point. Okay. So I'll second that.
Great, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Not hearing any discussion, I will take a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Awesome. Welcome to all of those volunteers. We are moving on now to consent items. Item A is to accept a grant in the amount of $66,560 from DHCD for a consultant to explore the reuse of the senior center building. So,
Will they be taking in citizens' input as part of this?
They will, yes. We have a list of items that we plan to, that we know we need to put in there, or that need a
Need a
home.
place,
But they also will be meeting with residents and other stakeholders in order to understand how it possibly could work.
okay.
They'll also give us a cost estimate for any changes we need to make to the building in order to make the uses work as well.
And,
Kind of important.
yes,
Have you chosen a consultant or not yet?
No, we just got the grant.
The grant.
great.
That's
I
great.
know it took a while, so I'm glad we ended
Yeah,
up
we're
with it.
excited.
Now, and which one of our town employees put in for that grant?
Andrew's our
Andrew.
grant
Yeah, well,
master.
Finds them all.
Grant, Andrew and Laurie seem to be.
Yep. She's our green communities person. Yep, we've been doing great on grants, which is
Great.
amazing. Yeah.
And item B is to accept the donation of a van from the MVRTA for our senior center. So
Is
that's
it a
pretty
good
cool.
working order?
It's in good working
That's
order,
good to
yes.
know.
That's great.
That is great.
Is this
Management.
adding one to our, do we,
So we had in the capital improvement plan a new van. Unfortunately, the wait is like 18 months.
right, okay.
So rather than wait, we're going to implement this van to replace our
Wow.
one that is no longer running well.
Functional. That's
We
great.
don't want
That's
a
really
lot of people stranded on the side of
No.
the road. That would be very.
good
Good air
timing, though,
conditioning
that they
issues and
had
stuff. Yeah.
something available for us, so thank you to them.
Yeah, that's great.
All right. Any other discussion? If not, I will take a motion.
Madam Chair, move the select board accept all consent items.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. The next item is the approval of minutes from the open session of November 7th, 2022. Did everybody get a chance to look? Okay. Any changes, questions, comments? Okay. That being said, I will take a motion.
I'll move that the select board approve the open session minutes of November 7th, 2022 as presented.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Our next item is old business, and I do not see any old business on the agenda, so we'll move on to the town manager's report. We will talk about the town election calendar.
Yep, so we do have our election calendar for the Tuesday, March 28th, 2023 election. This calendar lays out when the last day to obtain and submit nomination papers are, the last day to withdraw, and the last day for voter registration. I can't believe we're already talking about another election. But it's all good. So obviously, it also lays out when all the year-end filings are due from candidates. In addition, I just wanted to mention a few quick things. We have the Kramer Cruiser Food Drive being run by the police department. We had one this Sunday. There's going to be another one Saturday, December 3rd, December 10th, December 17th, from 9 a.m. to noon at the North Andover Market Basket. That's always fun. The tree lighting has been moved to December 4th due to the weather. There is a mitten tree in the lobby, people who are willing and able to come in and donate hats and gloves or a hat. The town clerk's office runs that. We have received the resignation of Mr. Frank Rossi from the Greater Lawrence Technical School Committee. In order to fill that seat, which the school committee has written you a letter requesting that you do, we would require the joint action of the school committee and the select board, so we will put that on your next agenda. That seat is up in March. I guess they are having quorum issues, which is why they're requesting that you fill it. So I will forward that along to all of you. And we have received correspondence about the trash. We had a bad couple of weeks, although we do seem to be on the up again. They have submitted a plan, which we got, I think, this morning. Or was that Friday? All the days blur together. I don't know. At some point, we got a plan. We've had daily communications with DPW, which has been really helpful. Their team is now checking in an hour prior to leaving town, so that if there's anything that's been reported, they can recover that we now have a third truck in town, which has been very helpful. And that third truck is not only assisting with, so we have a couple of days that are heavier than other days. And so those days they're running as a third truck. Other days they're helping with emptying that third, emptying commercial trash cans and dumpsters, which is helpful. And now we have an in-town supervisor. So that has been helpful, but we will continue to communicate with them and you and the public. And I encourage people, if they're still having issues with the trash, I think I only got one today, to put it into the reported system.
And they should do that, it sounds like they should do that even the same day.
Yes.
Because there might be the chance that it gets resolved before they leave.
Yes, our contract requires anything we report before 3 o'clock to be picked up.
Okay.
And we have noted that to the carrier. So they should let us know that as soon as they can, if they're
So
having
when you
done.
say a third truck, so that should shorten, hopefully, some of the wait time when they're going to do drop-off, if there's another truck that,
You mean at the tipping point?
yeah, I guess that's the.
Yeah, I mean, they should have less trash in the individual
the
trucks.
whole- yeah. Sort of.
I haven't heard as much that there's been a wait at Waste Management, although that was an issue for a while. I think it's been more of the fact that a few of our routes are long, so they weren't being finished. And then they were kind of escalating to the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day, and so it was just a backup.
And then by that time, they waited for the next week.
Right, and
For
that's
some-
just not
for some,
acceptable.
That's not good.
And so we've tracked all of those. I know you've all received the letter. I know we corresponded with the public about it. We've put them on notice of our concerns. And they've, have called and been very attentive to them. So we will hopefully see progress. So we're feeling optimistic about it.
Thank you for staying on top of it. And,
Of course.
I'm glad that they seem to be working. with
Fingers
us
crossed.
to make
Like I said, I only
progress.
got one today. So
Sometimes I wonder if people just
it
give up,
happens.
but.
Trash is hard,
Well, the few things that people say, I pay my taxes, I don't complain, I just want you to pick up my trash. Like, there's just a few things that they,
We've just had it really, really, really good, and it's hopefully just a blip,
Yeah.
Yeah.
bump in the
So.
road.
But we're working on it and attentive to it. So I thank everybody for their patience because I know it's frustrating.
No, thank you. Okay, and now updates, selectmen updates. Anybody?
well, like you're all going to be surprised with what I'm going to say. That parade was awesome. It
It
was
was.
so much fun, and E.J. Folds, who did the lineup for the parade, he put the perfect band right. We came out with a bang,
Yeah.
and it was so much fun. And I think they were having as much fun as we were, the band on there. And then, of course, displaying our new addition to the fire department, which was just stunning. That was great fun. And then we spoke about the Merrimack College Band and our own high school. It was a really fun parade. Even my husband got stopped by a lovely neighbor who just went on and on about how wonderful the parade was. And they
The
worked
weather
hard.
helped a lot.
It
was a very
certainly-
good parade, and it was a beautiful day for it.
And then my second comment, the right call was made for the tree lighting. It was not a good night. But I think we all kind of discussed this, is I think by putting out the robocall that we were postponing that. And I had said, don't forget to say, but the parade's still on because they're gonna confuse it. The crowd was wonderful, in such great moods. It was one of the biggest crowds I think we've ever seen. We all had a ball. I mean, we were all like, yeah, this was fun. So we hope that we get them back again next year. I already called Trombley's and thanked them for their donation for that, and it was a fun day. I think we all agreed with that. We were
lot
all
of fun.
smiling faces, so nice job. So we have the tree lighting coming up, and breakfast with Santa. I believe. Well, not all of them. We had a little truck problem where one of the trucks was down for at least a half a day, and then the person who does them was out today. So we should be heading, going down High Street, and then we're heading to the old center right after that, so.
Well, thank you
Well,
for sticking with that. Cool.
There's
Very
also
welcome.
did you mention the fire department toy drive?
I was just gonna
Oh.
that.
You did the Cranmer Cruiser, but the fire department's taking toys until the December 18th.
There's a huge box right
Big
inside the
box
door.
right inside.
Yeah, they're so good. They've been doing that for decades.
And the Merchants Association bingo is going on right now, so you can go into really any of our local businesses and get your bingo card. And if you shop, if you get bingo by shopping at those stores, you can register to win prizes and.
So I'm confused. So how does it work?
So the bingo
exactly.
cards, they're actually different versions that have all the different participating.
All the stores.
Stores, and then you have to shop at, you don't have to fill your card, you just have to get bingo on your card, and then you can
Now, do you
turn
have
it
to buy
into.
something or just go in and browse?
You
Or
have to
both,
buy something.
both would be good.
Both would, yeah. You do have to make a purchase, and they'll mark your card, and then
Oh,
you can
okay.
enter to win, so, or win your
That's
prize.
a great idea.
It's a great way to drive
That's
people to our local businesses,
But
so.
it's a really great idea to do it with a bingo card.
And people don't really, I think a lot of people don't know what kind of businesses are downtown, so you can look at the card, it helps you sort of
Right.
know what we have, and, pretty popular, so.
That's
They
great.
handed out the cards during the parade, but you can get them at any of the
Go to one of the
the
stores. that you-
participating, yeah,
Okay.
stores.
So you go on to the merchant's website, is that?
Yep, I think you can, I'm not positive, but I think you can actually also print it from the merchant's website if you want. We did that last year, I just don't know if we're doing it this year, so.
Is it restaurants too, or just shopping?
No,
Oh, nice.
restaurants too.
That's
And
great.
so-
Good idea.
I was distracted for a minute. Did somebody mention the breakfast with Santa coming up too at the senior center?
Yeah, that's coming as well.
That's what, next weekend, or?
It might be next weekend.
We should lock that
Don't
date
know the
down. I
date.
was just looking, I couldn't find it.
Oh, well, you have a little.
I feel like
You have a little
I
elf
haven't
that
seen
might
anything
enjoy
about it.
seeing Santa.
Yeah.
A couple of them, actually. So,
Did you find it? I don't.
Where would it be listed under festival committee?
try festival committee.
I feel like. I feel like that hasn't.
I should know, too,
Come
because
up.
my daughter-in-law just told me.
I know, she's very good.
When it was, but I haven't seen it.
It might be, I don't want to say. 'cause I'll
I
get
don't
people
see it,
confused.
so.
It might be the following weekend, because I actually said, you're probably better off spreading these events out, because it's just too much in all one weekend. It's just a lot.
Festival committee, let's see. They've got it listed. They don't have it listed, so we'll have to owe people that information.
All right, we will.
Have Sarah send it out.
Okay.
It's gonna be at the senior center this year, I believe, right? Usually it's up at the,
The Masonic
the
Lodge.
Masonic
It's
Lodge,
usually
yeah.
a little cramped, you need more space. That's a good thing. Okay,
Great.
any other updates? Fabulous. Our next meeting is actually December 14th. Where is it gonna be?
We'll be here.
Oh,
We should be here,
that's
right?
right. All right, tri-board, okay.
The tri-board meeting, yep.
Tri-board meeting. And I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.